Well, I'm exhausted and deaf, so I won't be able to hear this if I play it back again. Briefly, back to politics. I see Charlotte Church has now got in on the act of calling Nigel Farage nasty names, not to mention that he's receiving zillions of death threats for winning a democratic referendum. 52% of the vote. The Tories got in with 36% of the vote. I don't recall David Cameron receiving zillions of death threats from the many parties who are not represented by the Conservative government, which, as I say, got in with 36%. So what is it they've really got against Nigel Farage, for heaven's sake? He's not a racist. He wants our sovereignty back. That's a political term for things like controlling our own borders, making our own laws, having our country, our own country. Now, if I saw anything wrong with that, I wouldn't have voted Leave, and I did vote Leave, as everyone knows. 17 million of us voted Leave. And yet the, 13 million, I don't know, who supported staying in, as it turns out, know very little about the EU, if anything, and will not accept a democratic vote. And then they say things like, democracy will win. If Brexit goes forward and we are taken out of the EU, democracy will have won. If it does not go forward and we are not taken out of the EU, democracy has lost. And these people who are saying that democracy will win are in fact about to see the end of democracy if they get their way. What they'll see instead is the dictatorship which they appear to love from both the EU and Cameron. Well, Cameron's on his way out, but not till it suits him. Possibly too late to get us actually out and to actually act on the result of a democratic referendum. So what I'm currently wondering is why the in-crowd accept the results of elections which are never truly democratic, because in the first past the post system they never can be truly democratic. Think about it. The Conservatives got in with 36% of the vote. That means 64% of people didn't want them. Do we see those 64% of people marching in London saying we want democracy back? Unfortunately, no, we don't. More's the pity. What we should see is those 64% of people who did not want the Conservatives in the first place. What we should see is them marching in their millions, as I say, and saying, we want proportional representation, an end to first past the post, which never gets anything as high as 52% vote. Never. Or at least there may have been an occasion, but I can't remember one. It's a long time since I did my A-level in government and politics, but I did do one. And I got a grade A for it. That was how it was graded back then. And we were taught about important things like sovereignty. We were also taught, a little bit late, that with the Lisbon Treaty in particular, we would lose our sovereignty forever. Brexit is the best thing that could possibly happen to the British Isles. As to trade, which seems to be the main concern of the in-crowd, we have zillions of offers coming in already from all over the world for trade. As to the accusations of racism, we used to trade with the Commonwealth, which was multicoloured. People of every hue and race and nation. The EU is predominantly white, is it not? So how and why are we racist for wanting to leave a white dictatorship in favour of a multicoloured democracy? Charlotte Church was a beautiful little singer in her day. Now, unfortunately, she is merely a spoiled, rich, millennial brat.